As the bull run heats up, it gets harder and harder to find these altcoins that have 10x potential. Now, when you come across an altcoin that might actually go above and beyond 10x, you start to get a little excited. In this video, we're going to be talking about such a coin. As we get into it, if you find it useful and informative, hit that like button. We really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧. Right. With all that said, done, and out of the way, let's actually jump on down to the desktop and take a look at this particular altcoin in a bit more detail. Okay, guys, so the altcoin that we are talking about is Multivac. Now, for those people who are familiar with the channel, you will be very familiar with Multivac. We highlighted this one at well below 1 cent, and it has performed quite well since. Now, I'm going to go through a little bit of detail about what Multivac is and why you might want to start paying attention to it, if you haven't all done so already yet, right? And we're also going to go into some of the things that might be classed as speculation. We'll also have a look at the charts from a technical point of view as well, and see if we can kind of gauge a bit of a flavor as to where things are likely to go slightly longer term by the time we actually peak this bull run, right? So the first thing I want to kind of bring up is, okay, let's take a look at the website. The website obviously is telling you a little bit around what Multivac is, right? We've done a whole host of videos already. So do check those out on the channel if you want to get a bit more of an understanding on what Multivac is. But in summary, basically Multivac is the next generation public blockchain, which is designed for large scale and complex distributed applications, right? It's basically an all-dimensional sharding platform where it basically allows developers to trade off with the trilemma of basically decentralization, scalability, and security. It has incredibly high TPS with infinite expansion, right? So if we actually take a look, currently we've got about 30,000 transactions per second, 530 transactions per shard, 64 shards currently, and the nodes are actually quite small as well with only 12,800, right? So again, over time, we're going to see an expansion of the shards, an expansion of the nodes, and we're going to start seeing, true scalability in very similar ways that we're going to get from the Hydra solution with Cardano, right? So it's a very, very good, fully sharded blockchain solution to really help push things further forward, right? And now this is really important. I know there's a lot of sharded blockchain platforms out there, loads of smart contract platforms out there, but this particular, protocol uses a very common language for programming, right? So the smart contracts that are due to launch are going to see the Solidity language, basically meaning that if you're an Ethereum developer or currently running dApps on Ethereum, you're going to be straight away able to take advantage of the Multivac's mainnet, build on there, and basically you're going to be able to get much faster, cheaper, more secure, and more scalable for your dApp, right? So it's a bit of a no-brainer. There's a lot of blockchain technologies out there that do very similar things, but when it comes to what Multivac are doing, it's most relates to something like Ethereum 2.0, right? And obviously you're waiting for Ethereum ETH 2.0, but you actually don't have to because it's here already. It's just called Multivac instead, right? So I do imagine there's going to be a bit of a migration, a bit of a pull as that smart contracts launch on the ecosystem to start to get developers to build on Multivac rather than Ethereum or another kind of chain, right? So again, another option for developers to utilize. I'm not saying that they're going to. I am saying that there's a platform here that's very, very fast, very scalable, fully sharded, and can truly expand as needed. So this is a platform that should be under serious consideration, and definitely can't see why you would wait if you're running a business on Ethereum, why you'd wait for ETH 2.0 when you've got something that's going to be just as good, if not better, already here today now, right? You could go ahead and just program with Solidity. There's no barrier to entry here whatsoever. It's not an EVM either. It is a true mainnet in itself. So it's important that we understand that. I'm not going to go on about and on about the technology and all that kind of stuff, but it's important that we acknowledge that. Now, the other thing that's really important, if we actually jump back to coin market cap for a second here, is we can also see that it's trading at 1.9 cent. Now, 1.9 cent, you might think, well, that's super cheap. There must be a whole load of supply keeping that price down. And, well, no, the total supply comes in at 10 billion, and the circulating supply is 3.7 billion verified data from 𝗕𝗪𝗀𝗀 here, right? So 3.7 billion circulating supply. That's an important number, remember that. Okay, and obviously trading at 1.9 cent. That's absolutely tiny with a market cap, which is a simple calculation of circulating supply multiplied by current or last sold price. Gets you that market cap, right? That market cap isn't the amount of money that's in the project. It's a simple calculation between the last sold price and, of course, that circulating supply. So $72 million market cap, right? So absolutely tiny, less than 100 million. And this is what they might class as a micro cap coin. Now, this is where you see serious percentage gains, okay, overall. So when we're talking about a 10x, that's quite rare at this late stage in the bull run. This particular coin could have the potential to push up much higher. It could be a 20x coin at this point in the bull run, and it may even surprise me and blast way past even that. Okay, so it's important that we kind of speculate, but speculate reasonably and apply some form of logic to it and don't just call out wild numbers. Okay, so it's important that we acknowledge that it's a really, really small market cap, and that market cap is only driven from the circulating supply that is also really small and the last sold price, right? Now, this particular project is available for purchase on a few different exchanges. It's recently launched on a couple. Not that I can remember what they are off the top of my head, but a little bit of research on your side should be able to show you that. But you can see here it is available on KuCoin, it's available on Gate.io, it's on PancakeSwap v2, and it's on a few other exchanges with more to come as well, right? And the mainnet only just launched a few months ago. From there, we've also seen the staking element, which is the next really important thing that we have to talk about, because we have 3.2 billion staked. Okay, now if we jump back to 𝗕𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀, there's only 3.7 billion in circulation, and 3.24 is staked. Okay, so this staking basically means that that's not actually in circulation, and therefore there's actually a significant squeeze on the supply. Now, that supply ultimately is going to be increasing as there are staking rewards that are driven and given out for delegating your MTV tokens, right? So we have to acknowledge that we are increasing the supply, but there's a huge amount actually out of circulation. This is a key thing because it means that when we get new exchanges or we get the smart contracts, we start getting transactional volume, we start getting adoption, we start getting some FOMO, some speculation on price. The price of MTV is going to move rapidly to the upside because it wouldn't take a lot of money to move that needle. Like I said, there's a small amount of actual circulating supply out there, and when it comes to market cap, we know market cap is only calculated based on the last sold price and, of course, the circulating supply, right? So what will it actually take to move the needle? Well, we need a shortage of supply, and it comes down to the very fundamental basics. You've heard it 1,000 times before, but supply and demand. As the supply gets squeezed and there's an increase in the demand, the prices will naturally rise up, okay? That's how you see these price movements, right? It's basically just demand for a specific token with the shortage of supply that will drive that price discovery overall. Okay, so it's quite key that we see an increase in staking because you're earning a very good lucrative return there, but also you are basically seeing an inflated or an appreciation to the asset in itself, right? So really important that we understand that staking is a key component to what's actually going on here with Multivac and why we've seen it rise up quite nicely so far, and why I am expecting some significant ROIs in the near future by the peak of this bull run. Okay, not only is the tech and the team fantastic behind it, but obviously this adds a unique, or not a unique, but an element to the investment opportunity that lies here with MTV. Now, it goes a little bit above and beyond that because after the mainnet went live, it was staking that was first to go, right? We got staking on here. There was the 1 billion target, the 2 billion target, the 3 billion target. There's now a 4 billion target where they airdrop you an additional bonus for hitting that target, right? So we're incentivized to stake, to delegate, not only to earn the passive income, but also hit that target. That was the first thing that they did. The second thing is they launched an NFT platform. This is most recent. Okay, and this is the second thing that they've launched alongside that staking. So now you actually have the ability to mint NFTs and basically, resell them amongst each other. And you can see that this actually goes on for quite a bit. There's different rarities on these ones. So knock yourselves out if you want to go and check out the NFT platform on here on Multivac, see what's going on. There's some 4 stars there, there's some 2-star, 3-star, 2-star, etc. And there's some fantastic NFTs here with various different kind of attributes associated with them, and you can trade these off between each other, etc. Right? So Some pretty interesting stuff going on just with the NFTs as well, which is adding that transactional volume at that base layer as well. So pretty cool stuff going on. And this is ahead of the smart contracts. Once we start seeing the smart contracts, which is the next thing, that's going to lead on to dApps being built. You have some maybe decentralized exchanges. Maybe you'll have some lending protocols. Maybe you'll have a whole host of different NFT platforms kind of coming up as well. There's so many things that are going to come from the back of Multivac getting smart contracts that leads us on to seeing this kind of money flowing into the protocol, into the MTV token, and that will naturally rise up the price after that demand comes in, because there's already a squeeze on the demand, or a squeeze on the supply, right? So demand, supply, two key metrics, and we're going to see that market cap steadily rise, in my opinion. So again, right, we are 1.9 cent. Let's take a look at the charts and actually see what's going on here. Now, when we take a look at it from a technical point of view, the fact that we've only seen the mainnet go live a few months ago, we've seen the staking elements squeeze the supply, and of course we have seen the NFTs. We've seen a pretty good growth, pretty much from where we were kind of highlighting this at around 0.5% down here. We rose this nice and up. We had the opportunity to come back in down at this lower area. Again, this is a fraction of a cent down here, and then you're bringing right back up again. And this is actually looking at, if we follow the trends of the bull run, about 7.9 cent overall. Okay, from the current position, that doesn't seem like a big ROI, right? It's less than 5x. But like I said, this is because the technical data doesn't know about what's been going on very recently, right? It doesn't really know about the squeeze on the supply, the new exchange listings, the marketing that is due to occur. And these things are basically going to completely wreck the technical analysis element of Multivac's chart. And so therefore we have a couple of interesting kind of percentage gains on milestones that I think are actually more probable based on the fundamental side coupled with the technical. Okay, so we can see things potentially progressing up towards that 30 cent area. Now, 30 cent would basically be just short of that 20x area. 38 cent, I think, would actually be the 20x. And I reckon we're going to be somewhere in that zone, around that 30 cent area. I think that is probably the most realistic area that we are likely to hit, and probably one of the most probable based on the things that are going on fundamentally alongside the technical here. Now, of course, I could be a little bit off base here, and actually we start seeing a lot more adoption of this particular protocol that could see this thing absolutely soar to the upside very, very rapidly. And in which case, we are likely to push past the 30 cent quite nicely and potentially go after some much, much higher targets. But then that to me just feels very speculative and doesn't necessarily rely on what we've actually seen so far. And based on the amount of kind of volume coming in, based on the staking side of it, with the circulating supply kind of being absolutely hammered hard, I would say that actually 30 cents seems like a more probable area than pushing up to, let's say, $1. But I'm not ruling that out either. During the peak of a bull run, things go absolutely nuts, and people will FOMO into absolutely any cheap coin going, with the promise of 1000x, for example. Now, obviously, that is very, very unlikely. It's not impossible, but it's definitely beyond what I would believe to be probable. Okay, and we obviously have to make sure that we keep into the realms of realistic kind of price expectations the best that we can. And for that, we have these key areas, right? We can see that from the all-time high, or the previous all-time high to the bear market low, that actually indicates us moving out to about 9.2 cent. The trend of the bull run looks like 7.9, and the actual pullback of wave 3 to wave 4 that you see in here, that actually shows us moving to 7.2. Okay, but again, with those fundamental changes that we've been talking about, we could, in my opinion, move up a little bit further north of these expectations to approximately 30 cent, in and around that area. But we won't know until we get a little bit later down in the line. I think by the end of December, if we haven't progressed nicely with smart contracts and seen a lot of dApps, or seen some marketing, seen some pretty good exchange listings, I think it's probably unlikely that we're going to push past, at least much past 10 cent. But I do want to highlight the fact that it's very possible that with new exchange listings, with some decent marketing, this side of the new year, we could potentially be, pushing for some pretty good growth overall on the price expectations of the MTV token. So I do want to kind of leave you with that kind of thought pattern there, that if Multivac absolutely nail everything that they're trying to do, that it is very likely that we could be in a very good position come the peak of the bull run. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found it useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe? Tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.